What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. If you're new here, do me a huge favor. Just think about checking out that little button, one of the sides of the screen. Consider subscribing, and if you don't like the video at the end, you just unsubscribe, do your thing. But I appreciate your time being here. It's a lot of fun. Let's just get this out of the way. I am sitting at a table in the middle of the woods. But if you checked out the last video, you'll recognize the spot. I actually came out here again just as I enjoyed being here. I wanted to check out a few more things. I was actually in the area. I have a place to hunt out here by the house that I got permission for last year, and I had a few cameras to come pull out, and I wanted to bring my stuff with me because I wanted to take a moment and stop and talk to you guys about taking care of these cameras and drop you a couple of tips on how to make these cameras last longer. I mean, good God, how much money have I spent, have you spent over the years on these cameras? It's really ridiculous. I mean, they've got us by the, when it comes to buying these cameras. But there are a few things you can do to make them last, whether they're high quality cameras or some of the cheaper cameras. It's really all the same. So I wanted to take a minute and drop a couple of tips by you guys about how to care for these cameras. And really the title of the video should be why you shouldn't neglect them, because that's basically what it comes down to. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to convince you of is basically what I'm doing here, is get out of the habit of leaving these cameras out. They try to sell us these cameras, let them soak. Let them soak. I said it all year, had 6 inches of snow on it, hurricane came through, blew down the tree, flooded it, sat under a foot of water, still works. No sir, that's not the way it works. These things are not made to sit out year-round conditions. I don't care what brand it is, it doesn't matter. They're not made to be out in the elements that long. So first off, get out of that mindset that they're gonna be okay. Even if you're wanting to run the camera, don't run the camera all year. Certainly don't leave it out if the thing is dead. Take a little responsibility, put in the effort, neglect again, to go get that camera, pull it out, get out of that mindset. The thing is if you do want to run cameras all year just because it's fun and cool, believe me, I would put a camera on every tree in the woods every day of the year if I could, and I'd have it come to my phone and I'd pay $500 a month to get them all. It's not worth it. Majority of what you're learning over the off season and during the summertime is not always going to play into an area that you're going to hunt. That summer movement is not going to be that valuable in where you're going to hunt, because it's likely going to change unless you're on a manicured property or a private property where you've got crops, agriculture, small blocks of woods. But when you're hunting these public grounds, or you just got minimal access and minimal opportunity, you're not getting a ton of knowledge out there. So get out of that mindset and bring those cameras in during the off season. Let them rest. That is the biggest key. Drop that. Number 2, when you bring these cameras in, take the batteries out. It doesn't matter if they're half-life. Take them out of the camera. Do not let them sit in that camera connected to the terminals, no matter what. It's also a good tip to keep the original battery packages so you can store them again. That way they're not touching and drawing connections, because I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But definitely get them out of the camera. Just as important as getting the camera out of the woods, get the batteries out of the camera. A few years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, this is what I started doing, and it didn't matter what camera I did it with. I started getting extremely longer shelf life for these cameras. You got Spy Point, Link, Solar over here, been running for 3 years. Cheap Amazon camera, been running for 3 years. High dollar Cuddyback, dead, 2 years. Reconyx, dead, 2 years. And it's all due to the elements and neglect. It really has nothing to do with the camera, as far as I'm concerned. But you get those cameras in, you take those batteries out, store them in a baggie, clean them up. If there's anything that looks like any leakage or corrosion, throw them out. I know they're half-life, but throw them out. It's really you're not even really supposed to keep them in a Ziploc bag where they can potentially connect to each other, touch negative to positives, and transfer energy. That's bad for them. But if you have to do that, that's cool. I understand you want to save batteries and make the best of them. Get them out. You take them out. Take these cameras out. Clean these terminals. What happens is, inside these batteries, you're going to get natural potassium carbonate that builds up, leaks from these batteries. They're going to leak. That's what they do. That's what batteries do over their life. Even if, get out of here. Even if a battery sits on the shelf in a package, it will leak eventually. And that little white stuff that accumulates on these terminals, that's potassium carbonate, and that is corrosive stuff. It's gonna eat, rust, kill your terminals, kill your battery, kill your electronics, malfunction the connections between them. It's just gonna jack it up. So what you do is you take a Q-tip like this, and you can use vinegar or lemon juice, or even a little bit of acetone or something like that. You take these cameras, pop them open, you dip you a little side, you get you a little bit of that, and you swab those terminals across the whole camera. This camera right here has got cheap terminals, you can see. You swab those terminals, you get them clean out the inside of that battery compartment. All those materials that you're cleaning it with will evaporate in a short amount of time, and then you can put this thing up, store it away, and you're good to go. When you leave those batteries inside those cameras, even after you bring them home, if they're charged, it's worse, because once they go dead, it's actually more likely to leak and secrete that potassium carbonate. And even when they're full, they are still able to leak or discharge when they're through their connection. What happens, we've probably seen it, but I'm explaining it to you just a little bit more. But when you leave them in, you let them go dead and be out in the elements, you don't have a chance. When you leave those things out in the woods, in the humidity, in the snow, heat, cold, and they're dead, they're gonna discharge, rust, kill your terminals, and they're gonna look like this. They're gonna look just like that. They're gonna leak, they're gonna rust, they're gonna corrode, they're going to short out their connections, they're gonna interfere with the communications between your camera and the connections through the terminals, and it's going to kill it. This one, dead, this camera was in the middle of its second year, and it wasn't bad batteries. There are certain batteries. The best battery you can get is Energizer Max, guaranteed no leakage. That's the best you can do. When you use the alkaline batteries, those are going to leak. They are cheaper batteries, and that's what they do. Batteries are made to discharge energy, and they'll do that if you let them, and they will kill these cameras quicker than anything. So what it really comes down to these things is just a little bit of care, and we always mean to every year. We all say, when you go to that last hunt, pull that thing out, or when you're going to go back in that late January, February time, grab them and get them out of there. Don't bring them back until August, September. Give them a rest. Get them out of the woods, number one. Number two, get the batteries out. It's almost not even worth it if you're not taking the batteries out. Number three, clean the terminals, let them sit, and I promise you they'll be good to go for the next season. Guys, I hope you enjoyed just these couple little tips I wanted to share with you. And I'm telling you, it sounds simple, I know, and it's really just a convincing story. You guys know we should be doing this, but I'm telling you, I have seen it made a huge difference. I was buying cameras at minimum every 2 years. I have 6 of these Amazon Wild Game cameras, and I have about 5 SpyPoint Lynx, the SpyPoint Lynx Micros. I bought them all within the same year, about a year and a half, over the course of about 6 or 8 months. I lost 1 of these Amazon cameras just due to malfunction, and it just quit taking pictures at night. And they're going on the 3rd year. That's 7 or 8 cameras that are going strong. Cheap cameras, 45, 50 bucks. Maybe we'll do a little camera review, something like that on some of these things. I got all different kinds. These over here, back when I didn't care, back when I left them out, I'd go back and pick them up in July, thinking it's all good, $300 for this camera, $500 for this one. Crap, Dunsky. A little bit of effort, I think, goes a long way. Bring those things in, get them cleaned up, store them, save yourself lease fees for next year. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you see me in the same shirt after this, it's because I got a cool video coming up where we're going to review some of the new Climbing sticks that I got, and we're going to talk about what I'm going to transition to and why I'm going to use them and my impressions with them so far. So thanks for tuning in today, guys, here on Drop and Drag TV. Do me a huge favor if you haven't. reach over there, subscribe, hang out with me, come back. Been tough to get out lately, but I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and God bless.
For now, I'm grown so tired this time, so I'll take a bow and sink in.